Bus stations. To most people, they're just a waypoint. A place to grab a coffee, check a timetable, and get from point A to point B. They're the engines of our cities, designed for one thing, moving thousands of people safely and effectively every single day. But for us, they're the gallery. They're a place to see the latest fleet, track down a rare livery, or catch a glimpse of a retiring classic. However, because these stations are so busy, it is incredibly easy for a bus spotter to accidentally get in the way. Before we get into the how-to, I want to be clear, the tips I'm sharing today are general best practices for the hobby. This video isn't based on any specific interaction or instance that I've personally experienced. It's just a proactive guide to help us all stay on the right side of the line, because at the end of the day, a bus station is a place for work for the drivers and a place of transit for the public. Our job is to enjoy the hobby without disrupting the mission. Think about your own workplace. Maybe it's a classroom, an office, or a shop. Now imagine a stranger standing in your doorway, taking photos of you while you're trying to meet a deadline. It's a bit distracting, right? For a bus driver, that cab is their office. When they pull into a station, they aren't just driving, they're checking the mirrors for pedestrians, they're watching the schedule, they're managing the ticket issues that they have, and they're trying to navigate 12 tons of steel through tight gaps. It's a high pressure environment, and when we stand right on the edge of the curb trying to get a perfect cab shot through the glass, we aren't just taking a photo, we're adding another thing for that driver to worry about. The goal for any good bus spotter is to be operationally invisible. We want to see the work happening without becoming part of the workload itself. Don't forget to say thank you or even give a thumbs up when you get a good shot. Shows a bit of respect for the profession. Now let's talk about people who keep the wheels turning, the passengers. To us, that bus is a right street deck or a classic Alexander Dart. But to the person standing next to you, it's just a ride to work, the doctors, or home to see their family. The biggest mistake a spotter can make is becoming an obstacle. When you're focused on your viewfinder, it's easy to get tunnel vision. You might not see the person with the heavy shopping bags or the passenger with visual impairment trying to find the door. If a customer has to say "excuse me" to get past you, you're officially in the way. Our goal is to be like a fly on the wall, observing everything but not touching anything. So remember, give them space, give them time. You don't have to rush towards the bus to get that perfect shot. When travelling, it's important to remember what we say can have impact. As bus spotters, we develop a keen eye for detail. We notice rattling panels, the flickering of a destination blind, or the buses seem to struggle on that steep hill. It's tempting to hop onto social media or film saying, "Oh, such a company's terrible, look how bad their fleet is," or even just commenting on it whilst in the bus. This could lead to customers feeling like the bus isn't safe, or even worse, mass panic, and that could result in the driver having to deal with something that could get him either in trouble or cause problems for the company. So remember, if you're on board with your friends and you notice something, maybe just casually say it to the driver, instead of discussing it out loud with your friends or putting it on social media, as this could impact the company. Some of these buses might actually be on the way back to the depot, or be meeting a shift fitter to rectify the problem. Just remember, our words have impact and could cause problems for the company and the driver. Once you're on board, the rules change. You aren't just an observer anymore, you're that passenger. The biggest mistake a spotter can make is clogging the arches of the bus. That means the entrance and the exit, and the area right next to the driver. I know it's tempting to stand right at the front and get the perfect windscreen view of the road ahead, but standing in the gangway or right next to the cab can block the driver's mirrors and make it harder for people with strollers and wheelchairs to get past. If the bus is moving, you should be in a seat, or if you have to stand, move far back as possible and keep the entrance clear for the next stop. My personal preference for spotters is to stand in the wheelchair bay. Obviously, if there's no wheelchair user here, please stand there. Or I personally prefer when they sit at the back of the bus where the engine is. I believe this gives a great view of the actual saloon and the surrounding area, and they can hear the roar of the engine. If you're lucky enough to be on board a double-decker, then the seats at the top of the stairs, facing the window, looking out, are the best place to sit. This gives you a feel of what the driver feels whilst driving, and great views as well. We've talked about how to behave when the bus is moving, but what about when it actually stops? When a driver reaches the end of their route and steps off that bus, they are officially on their break. And just like you wouldn't want someone following into the break room at your job, we need space too. It can be tempting to run over the second the doors open to ask about a fleet number, a mechanical quirk, or where that bus needed to be heading next. But remember, that driver might have just finished a stressful 5.5 hour stint in heavy traffic, and they might need to use the restroom, or make a quick call to the family, or just have 5 minutes of silence. If you want to have a chat, wait for them to acknowledge you first. A polite good morning or good afternoon is fine, but if they look like they're in a rush, or just want to be left alone, let them be. And here's a big one: never film a driver while they're on the break, or approach them. If they're with their family, or having something to eat, or even a cigarette, just give them a bit of privacy. It's kind of a big deal when they're just having some downtime, especially when they're behind a wheel all day. By giving those few minutes apiece, you're showing the staff that the bus spotters aren't paparazzi, we're just fans of the machinery, who know how to act like professionals in situations like this. So there you have it. Being a bus spotter is more about than just collecting fleet numbers or getting a clear photo. It's about being a part of a massive moving puzzle. Whether you're at the station, on the top deck of a bus, or on news sharing online, your actions define how your entire community sees it. If we remember that the station is a workplace, that the bus is a shared public space, and that the truth is always more important than a rumour, we ensure that this hobby stays open for everyone. We don't want to be the reason a driver has had a bad day or a passenger feels uncomfortable. We want to be the ones who celebrate their industry and keep its history alive. I hope this guide helps you out on your next spotting trip, and if you've got your own unspoken rules or tips I've missed, drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear about how you stay invisible whilst you're out spotting. If you found this video useful, hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. Until next time, stay safe